Christian Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents Gazing at God, a 40-day journey to greater freedom from self, by Sharon Hodde Miller. Narrated by Larsen. Before you begin. In 2017, I released my first book, Free of Me, in which I documented my struggle with self-preoccupation. At the time of its release, I remember feeling both excited about how it might encourage people and terrified that no one would relate. On the one hand, the lessons in that book had provided me the single greatest freedom of my life, second only to meeting Jesus, a freedom I continue to walk in today. And I was certain others would experience the same. On the other hand, I wondered if my self-focus was somewhat unique to me. I wondered if people would read my story and brush it off as my own sick narcissism. This sounds like a you problem, I could already hear people saying, disgusted by my vanity. Thankfully, that is not at all what happened. Instead, the message resonated far and wide. I heard from women in college, women in their 80s, men pastoring churches, and individuals from all over the world who related to this struggle. Years later, I still hear from readers on a weekly basis. As it turns out, I was not unique. That said, I have continued to learn more about self-forgetfulness and its freedoms. Since Free of Me's release, I have planted a church with my husband, had another child, and written more books, all the while walking out the message of freedom from self. Along the way, I have experienced new levels of freedom and reached new layers of understanding, and because of this, I have long felt that I had more to say. Which leads to the purpose of this devotional. About midway through Free of Me, I tell a story about my mom's antique Steinway piano. The instrument was meticulously crafted more than 100 years ago and is paneled with dark, polished mahogany and a satin finish. It is the most beautiful piano I have ever seen, and it is a literal masterpiece. But it still needs regular tuning. Despite the high quality of the instrument, the quality of its sound is not fixed. Instead, this piano naturally drifts out of tune. This is true of most instruments. No matter the excellence of the material, no matter the expertise of the craftsman, an instrument's sound will eventually bend off course and out of tune. I liken that Steinway to the human soul, which also has a tendency to drift. We are made by the finest craftsmen in the universe, but our souls nevertheless bend and warp. This is exactly the way the ancient theologian St. Augustine describes the effects of sin. Sin causes the soul to bend in on itself. We, like a musical instrument, need constant unbending. We regularly need to retune ourselves to the gospel of Jesus. That is the purpose of this devotional. If you feel pain or insecurity as a result of your soul being tuned inward, I hope this 40-day devotional will be a helpful guide in reorienting yourself back toward God and others, to raising your gaze. At the same time, let me be clear about something. For Augustine, what unbends the soul is not reading the Bible, spending a lot of time in prayer, or participating in countless religious activities. In short, it's not works. What draws our souls outward and reorients us toward the love of God and neighbor is not effort, but grace. While we do have a role to play in our own spiritual healing, the freedom we are ultimately after is not something we can earn. This devotional is a tool, but it is God who gives the growth. Defining the terms. Before you embark on this journey, there are a couple of terms I would like to define, and the first is deceptively basic: the self. We hold no world.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?